Hello guys, and this video was recorded in the sarcastic Anna regime, so get ready. Last night was very hot in Russia, and no, not because it's summer, but because we set on fire a lot of evil, legitimate military objects there. And what I like the most is that the Ukrainian drones know how to choose these sustainably explosive objects, like Tambov gunpowder factory. After Ukrainian drones fell on it, that's how Russians describe the situation, it kept exploding 15 times. And as I record this video, another military airbase I told you about, I guess 4 days ago in Engels, is still on fire. Ukrainian drones and Ukrainian aviation, and I like that we use more and more of the Ukrainian aviation, and thanks to you too, neutralized a lot of military arsenals, and that saves a lot of innocent lives. First of all, an arsenal in Kursk region of 106 Airborne Division, then a military base in Voronezh, and a huge ammunition depot in Hulaypole. That is in Zaporizhia region. A part of it is temporarily occupied. So we neutralized it, saving a lot of people on the front lines. And let's discuss how the strategy to implement the only peace plan, the only working peace plan, is getting stronger, bigger, and expands inside the Russian Federation. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine. And if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, subscribe. We discuss all of that on the channel, and with each day, our Russian geography lessons where we discover more of the Russian locations based on the destroyed military objects there, get more and more interesting materials, all provided by the Ukrainian armed forces. So let's start with this Tambov powder or Tambov gunpowder plan. I don't know what's more correct, but just for a second, imagine when you target a powder plant. That is a firework. And Russians reported a lot of explosions, up to 15, that seriously damaged all the facilities. I googled the plant because I remember speaking about it before. It seems like every half a year Ukrainian drones land on it, leading to serious destructions. Then Russians take months to reconstruct it, and then we return back with more and more detonations. This factory produces powder that Russians use in various kinds of weapons, starting from artillery shells and finishing with bombs. So targeting one of the largest military powder producers is definitely an effective way to paralyze at least one part of the Russian military machine. When you listen to what the Kremlin says, to what Medinsky, one of these negotiators from Putin's team, say, you clearly see Russia does not want peace, Russia does not want ceasefire. They keep threatening not just Ukraine, but the Baltics, the Yellowstone, New York, London, Paris, and what not, while systemically destroying their own economy and becoming more and more vulnerable so that Ukrainian drones can do the job too. And we, of course, use this opportunity. And another interesting fact that we learn from toxic Russian Telegram channels that sometimes you have to read if you want to know the realities of that Frankenstein empire. So they have serious problems, not just with the people going to the front lines, because not many want contracts taking into account the inflation and that they never return. But fewer and fewer people want to work on military plans because they realize they often get demilitarized. And that is legitimate targets from this military war point of view. And with each day, Ukrainian drones reach deeper and deeper inside the Russian area. We have demilitarized a lot of targets 1,000, 2,000 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border. That's a breakthrough. That's record set by inexpensive Ukrainian Angry Birds. So they start hiring foreigners, and they use lack of knowledge about Russia of these poor people, and they invite them to work on these factories producing shampoo or something, and then they get on these evil military objects or even in the army, and their fate is very sad. So never trust Russia, especially if you are a foreigner. Subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and to know more about this war and also how to protect the world from the Russian imperialism. And the best way is to keep demilitarizing them. So let's discuss 3 more objects that were neutralized tonight. And likes for that. First of all, a huge arsenal in Hulaypole. That is a beautiful historical settlement in Zaporizhia region. Part of it is occupied by Russia, but the city of Zaporizhia is under full Ukrainian control, same as Kherson, so that Russian BS that they have put down these regions in their fake constitution means nothing to us, same as the outdated, expired Kremlin gobbling. So arsenal that they would for sure use against the Ukrainian soldiers on the front lines, and it was very huge in the open field, was neutralized very effectively. Another ammunition depot targeted tonight that resulted in huge explosions. Once again, I kind of like this phrase, sustainably explosive or explosively sustainable object is an ammunition depot of 106 Airborne Division in Kursk region, because Kursk is an active war zone, same as dozens of Russian regions. And I'm sure you remember that like every week, even airports in Moscow and St. Petersburg are paralyzed because of the Ukrainian drones, not targeting anything forbidden, but visiting these legitimate military objects. But they are flying this airspace, so they do have to close their airfields. And we have to say that just as Ukraine is a no-fly zone because of the Russian invasion, after years of their violence, Russia has also become a no-fly zone, and that is definitely not a sign of their invincibility and not a sign of their strength. It shows that with each month, with each year, Russia is getting weaker and weaker. Russia is weak like a bully. Bullies are never strong and successful people. Once a bully, always a bully. And that's what we see, starting from the times of the poor Soviet Union and finishing with the fake Kremlin's project now. Another object demilitarized is Voronezh airbase. And that is good because these air bases are also explosively sustainable. The one I reported you about in Engels is still on fire. Actually, I believe that this Engels military airbase that is closely located to an oil depot that they use to fuel Russian bombers, and they have some specific facilities there that allow to fuel those evil bombers still in the sky so they can terrorize Ukraine more. So Engels once was on fire for a week or more. Maybe this time it will break its own record. And Russia will soon break another record. Because as I record this video, and I'm sorry, sensitive people, we may have a loser, because I cannot say a winner, stating 1 million. You can guess 1 million. 1 million Russians who decided to violate international law, who decided to come, kill, loot, rape in Ukraine, joined the majority of the Russian army in hell, where they belong, and I actually think they miss and they need their commander-in-chief, the supreme Kremlin goblin. Anyway, sometimes I feel angry, sometimes I feel tired when I see this BS coming from the White House, or Tulsi Gabbard threatening the world with nuclear war, forgetting to name who is to blame for that. No, not the Ukraine that defends itself against Russian invasion. And if Ukraine is sacrificed, Russia will continue. They speak about that. They threaten the world. And then the very idea of sovereignty will lose its strength, because any nuclear nation will be able to do whatever it wants. And actually, I think it's a God's plan that Ukraine is the one to fight against this evil, because you see, after so many challenges, after so much violence, we are determined to do the job. So please stand by our side, support us, and let us do the job. We are prepared. We are not frightened. We do not escape. We work for the benefit of the world, and even Russians, because they need this defeat to at least try to become free one day in a decade or a century. They have never experienced that, and they will never produce it from inside. So I know you know that, but please share these videos with those who doubt, and follow me on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, and join the Discord community. Remember, we plan our live Q&A session this Saturday, 9 p.m. Check our merch shop, the link is in the description. To celebrate Spiderweb Operation, there is a whole limited collection dedicated to this truly historic operation that not just humiliated Russia, but wiped 1/3 of their strategic aviation. Thumbs up for that too. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. That's a true honor and blessing. And remember to support our NEFO campaign. We have less than 3% left to make more Ukrainian units stronger and better equipped, to save more Ukrainian lives, and to implement the only working peace plan. Thank you once again for all your kindness, advice, and comments. Give me your ideas. What would you like to see on the channel in the comments below? And thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!